When you hear the word serial killer, what comes to mind? A genius mastermind? A charming predator who's proud of their crimes? Or maybe someone who only targets a very specific type of victim? What if I told you almost everything you think you know about serial killers is wrong? Today, we will uncover the lies that Hollywood feed about serial killers. From Ted Bundy to Jeffrey Dahmer, Richard Ramirez to BTK, the truth is way more disturbing and way less glamorous. Get ready to have your assumptions shattered. Welcome back to Prison Stories. In this video, let's cut through the myths and get straight to the cold, hard facts. Myth number 1. Serial killers are criminal geniuses. While it sounds funny, Americans want their serial killers to be above 140, who are well organized, charming as hell, and eccentric. Well, all of this is not true. The image of a serial killer is often someone with a brilliant, calculating mind, committing their crime with perfection, and most importantly, always one step ahead of the police, perfectly planning every move. But the truth? Most serial killers are far from geniuses. Bundy was charming, manipulative, we can call him smart, but he wasn't a genius. In fact, police was able to prove everything on him and get a death sentence, even without DNA technology. Jeffrey Dahmer wasn't even charming and like Bundy. He was almost a misfit in society, working a simple job in a chocolate factory. Not exactly the high IQ, bright-minded as movies portray the serial killers. BTK was just a compliance officer. Gary Ridgway, the Green River Killer, was so unremarkable that police thought he was just a regular guy. During interrogations, he even struggled to spell some words. Kemper is considered a genius with an IQ of 145, but even he was a socially misfit. So no, these killers aren't criminal masterminds. Often, they're just average, sometimes even clumsy. Myth number 2. All serial killers were abused or have difficult upbringing. Many people believe that serial killers come from broken, abusive backgrounds, that every one of them suffered terrible trauma as kids. While abuse could be a factor, it's definitely not a rule. Dahmer, for example, had a relatively normal childhood, no serious abuse or neglect. Ted Bundy was raised by a loving mother and grandmother, with no major history of abuse. Even BTK came from a stable, middle-class family without documented trauma. The truth is, abuse might increase the risk, but many killers grew up in ordinary homes. Yes, there are some serial killers like Kemper or Ridgway who have trouble with their mothers, but becoming a serial killer is about more than just childhood pain. It's a complex mix of biology, psychology, and environment. Myth number 3. Serial killers are always charming and charismatic. Thanks to movies and TV, we often picture serial killers as smooth talkers who charm their victims and everyone around them. But in reality, most serial killers are anything but charming. Jeffrey Dahmer was awkward and shy, struggling to connect even with people he knew. Gary Ridgway was described by acquaintances as forgettable and quiet, the opposite of charismatic. Richard Ramirez had a reputation for terrible hygiene, rarely bathing and smelling unpleasant. Only a few, like Ted Bundy and Edmund Kemper, were actually known for their charm and ability to manipulate. Myth number 4. Serial killers are proud of their killings. A lot of people think serial killers boast about their murders, that they're proud of what they've done and want the world to know. But that's not usually the case. Jeffrey Dahmer expressed deep regret and said he wished he could stop killing. He looked remorseful and called himself a monster. Ted Bundy denied his crimes for years and acted like admitting them were beneath him. Even when he admitted, he refused to talk about the underage girls he killed. Only a few, like BTK, openly bragged and taunted the police about their murders. Most serial killers either feel ashamed, afraid, or disturbed by their own actions, far from being proud. Myth number 5. Serial killers only kill one type of person. You probably heard that serial killers stick to a victim profile, that they kill only a specific person that fits their criteria. A type they hunt over and over. But the reality is very different. BTK killed men, women, and even children. There was no single type. Richard Ramirez's victims range from elderly people to young couples, with no clear pattern. Ted Bundy was thought to target a specific type of woman, but then he murdered Kimberly Leach, a 9-year-old girl, breaking his pattern. Yes, all of Dahmer's victims are young males with well-built bodies, but in most cases, victims don't fit a neat profile. They kill whoever they get their hands on. Myth number 6. Serial killers are always highly organized. The image of the organized serial killer, who carefully plans every step, is popular, but many killings are impulsive, spontaneous, or even accidental. Jeffrey Dahmer's first murder was not planned. Even his second murder was accidental, and he blacked out not remembering details. BTK went after Mrs. Oterio, but ended up killing whole family. So don't assume every serial killer is a mastermind. Many are messy, unpredictable, and driven by sudden impulses. Myth number 7. All serial killers are charming. One of the many myths about serial killers is that they are charming and have a gift of gab. While some can be charming like Bundy, but most of them are pretty ordinary. Ramirez is popular not because of his charm, but due to his rough rouge-like carefree attitude. Most others were very normal or even below average. BTK had no charm and was an ordinary compliance officer. Ridgway was also pretty unimpressive. Dahmer was even socially awkward when caught. In fact, they were pretty ordinary, that is why they blend in so well. Nobody expected them murderers or capable of doing these crimes. Perhaps that was why it took such a long time for authorities to catch them, especially in cases of Dahmer, BTK, and Ridgway. Myth number 8. Serial killing is an American thing. Not exactly. Jack Uniwager was an Austrian serial killer. Chikatilo was Russian. Fred and Rose West were British. So they can be in every society or country. Yes, they are more glamorized in America, no doubt about it. And there you have it. Biggest myths about serial killers. Busted wide open. They aren't all brilliant masterminds, victims of abuse, charming con artists, or proud killers. They don't always stick to one victim type, aren't always highly organized, and definitely don't all exclusive to America. All they lack is a control on their impulses. Everyone can have a dark fantasy, but not everyone goes out killing to fulfill it. Having a dark fantasy and being obsessed with it is their choice, not a born defect. The truth is far more complex. These killers are often ordinary, flawed, and disturbingly human. If you found this video eye-opening, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and ring that notification bell so you never miss an inside look into true crime.